Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is March 31st. We had our first series of 2025. The Yankees brought some new bats to play. And how about those Marlins? Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? It is a beautiful Monday morning, and it's beautiful because there is baseball. There was baseball. There is baseball. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Baseball in 2025 is here. We had our first weekend and our first series already in the books. How about the baseball that was played? Boy, I'm excited to dive on into this. A lot of good juicy things happening, some storylines, already some headlines taken over. If you know, you know. We're going to be diving into all of that and a lot more here on the first episode of 2025, talking about regular season baseball. So, getting into the new rhythm here, got to remember all my little habits, tricks, sayings, etc. But with that being said, let's dive on into our series recap. Leading things off, we've got the Brewers in New York to take on the Yankees. Opening day, Austin Wells, he leads it off. The first game that's being played. What does he do? Bomb, hits a home run to start the year off entirely. That's a quick 1-0 for the Yankees. Volpe homers in this game as well. And how about Vinny Capra hitting his first MLB home run? The Yankees take that first game 4-2. Game 2, Nestor Cortez on the mound. From friend to foe and from foe to bad. 3 pitches, 3 home runs. Back to back to back. Goldie, Belly, and Judge. Austin Wells, he homers later in the same inning. 4 first inning home runs off of Cortez. And then Volpe hits a home run. Judge hits a grand slam. Jazz Chisholm goes deep. And then how about Judge for a third time? And by the way, Oswaldo Peraza, that's 9 Yankee home runs in the second game of the season. They still have 160 to go. 20-9 is the final there. And the next game, it's Aaron Judge again in the first inning. Ben Rice hits a home run. And then Jazz hits 2 more home runs. The Yankees sweep the Brewers. They win that one 12-3. They outscore them 36-14 in the first series. Yeah. Rockies and Rays. We have our first game at Steinbrenner Field, the new home for Tampa Bay here in 2025. And this game is tied up at 2. Cameron Misner pinch hit bomb for his first career MLB home run. And by the way, it's a walk-off in the first game at Steinbrenner Field. The Rays win it 3-2. Game 2. The Rockies pitching 7 straight scoreless innings. Phenomenal job. They take that game 2-1. And then for the third game, Brandon Lau hits a bomb. And then it's a 4-run 6th inning. That does it for Tampa Bay. Mickey Moniak hits his first home run of the season in his first at-bat as a Rocky. Came in as a pinch hitter. The Rays take the series 2-1. They win that game 6-4. We go to a bird battle now. Oilers at Blue Jays. This game had some home runs. Adley Rutschman, Tyler O'Neill, Cedric Mullins again, Adley Rutschman again, and Jordan Westburg. 6 home runs from Baltimore. Tyler O'Neill, 6 straight opening days with a home run. And then Andres Jimenez, he homers in his Blue Jays debut, but it was all Baltimore. 12-2-0s in opening day game. Then in the second game, it's the Blue Jays, who use 5 runs in the 4th inning. That propels their offense. They take that game 8-2. Third game, it's the Max Scherzer debut, and it goes sideways. Colton Cowser and Jordan Westburg homer off of him in the first inning. He leaves the game with an injury after 3 innings. Jordan Westburg, he hits a second home run in the game. And then how about Andres Jimenez doing all the home run lifting for the Blue Jays? He hits his second home run of the year. 9-5 Baltimore there. And the fourth and final game, yep, it's a 4-game series here. Bassett fights through 6 hard innings. Tyler Heineman hits his first home run since 2019, his second career home run to Took him almost over 5 years to get, of course, as a backup catcher throughout that time. 3-1 Blue Jays, your final. The Birds split the 4-game set, 2 apiece there. Moving on, we have the Guardians at the Royals. 7-4 Guardians in this first game. Vinny Pasquantino is healthy and hitting bombs. Manzardo puts Cleveland up with a 2-run shot. The Royals tie it in the 9th. That sends it to extras where Kwan doubles in 1. And then Manzardo comes through again. He doubles in 2 more runs. Guardians 7-4 there. The second game, Royals win it 4-3. Miguel Garcia hits a home run to tie the game in the 7th. Bobby Witt doubles in the run to take the lead. That's the difference in the 4-3 win there. And in the final game, it's Kyle Manzardo, it's Gabriel Arias, and it's Daniel Schneemann, all hitting home runs for Cleveland. They take this game 6-2 and take the series 2-1 and take that lead over Kansas City. Angels and the White Sox. How about Chicago coming to play on opening day? 8-1 your final. Austin Slater, Andrew Benintendi, and Lenyon Sosa all hitting home runs. What a strong start for the White Sox. And in the second game, they only got 2 hits, so it took them 1 day to go from great to White Sox. The only run in this game, Yoan Moncada, he singles in the 8th inning. Angels win it 1-0 there. And for the final game of the series, it's tied in the 8th when Kyron Paris hits a home run to break the tie. That wins this game and wins the Angels the series 3-2 the final there. Angels take it 2-1 against the White Sox. Red Sox and Rangers in a 4-game series. Red Sox delivering on opening day, and I should say Wilyer Abreu. He hits a home run to tie the game up in the 5th inning and then hits a 3-run go-ahead home run in the 9th to give the Red Sox the opening day win. 5-2 your final there. Rangers, though, they bounce back in this series in a big way. The second game, Jonah Heim hits 2 home runs. Rangers get their first win 4-1. In the next game, it's Christian Campbell who hits his first career MLB home run, but it's also Walker Buehler's Red Sox debut, and that both gets spoiled by Adolis Garcia, who hits a home run. The Rangers take this one 4-3, and in the final game, it's Jacob deGrom's start, and it was a pretty solid game. 2 home runs in the 6th inning from Wyatt Langford and Adolis Garcia. Langford ties it. Garcia gives them the lead once again, 3-2 their final there. So after losing on opening day, Rangers bounce back, winning 3 straight, win the series against the Red Sox 3 out of the 4, and are 3-1 to start the year. A's and Mariners, we are in Seattle for a 4-game series. And how about Tyler Soderstrom homering twice for the A's, but it's their only 2 runs, and they're both solo shots. Randy Rosarina, he goes yard in the 8th to tie it in what is an electric opening day moment. Jorge Polanco follows that with a 2-run shot of his own to give it the Mariners a 4-2 win on opening day. The A's, though, bounce back 7-0 in the next game. Brent Rooker, Luis Urias, and Max Muncy all homer. Yes, Max Muncy, not Dodger Max Muncy. There's now 2 Max Muncies as the A's call up their version of Max Muncy, who gets his first MLB home run and his first MLB hit in that game. What a moment for the kid there. In Game 3, it's Shea Langelaris who hits a home run, and it's also Mason Miller who comes out for his first save and strikes out the side. 1-2-3 Ks in his first save. A's win it 4-2. And in the final game, it's Soderstrom again with the home run, but that's just another solo shot when we have our first Julio bomb. It's a 2-run shot. That's the difference in this game because those 2 home runs were the only runs scored. Mariners win it 2-1. They split the 2-game set with the A's. Mets and Astros. The Mets are going for a 9th inning comeback, but Hader says no and strikes out Soto to end the ball game on opening day. Astros win it 3-1. The Mets would then follow that up, and Soto hits his first home run as a Met. They win that game 3-1. And we go to the third game here. Pena gets a solo shot home run. Yordan Alvarez, he doubles. That's the 2 runs that the Astros need. Hader gets another save. 2-1 Astros, your final. They take it 2-1 in the series. Phillies and Nationals. The Phillies start off strong. Keibert Ruiz gets a home run for the Nationals. Mackenzie Gore was amazing until he got taken out, and once that did, that's when the Phillies struck. Harper, a home run. Schwarber, a home run. The Nats scored 2 in the 8th to tie it. That pushed it to extras, where Bohm gets a 2 RBI double, and then Realmuto gets a 2 RBI triple. 7-3 Phillies in that first game there. Game 2, Ruiz hits another home run. So does Ahmed Rosario, who hits his first, and Nathaniel Lau for the Nats. 3 home runs there, but it's Bryson Stott, a second Kyle Schwarber home run in the series, and then Brandon Marsh. The Phillies carry Luzardo in his Phillies debut, 11 strikeouts. They beat the Nationals once again, 11-6. And in the third and final game, Josh Bell hits a 3-run home run. Nathaniel Lau gets his second home run on the season, and as a Nationals avoid the sweep. They take it 5-1, but drop the series to the Phillies. Pirates and Marlins play a 4-game series. The Marlins come out. We got Sandy, we got Skeens. The matchup was great. They both strike out 7 batters each. The Marlins score 2 in the 8th to tie it, and then in the 9th, Kyle Stowers gets the first walk-off of 2025. It's an RBI single. The Marlins opening day walk-off win. That's electric, and that sets the tone. A lot better than starting 0-13 like they did last year. Game 2, O'Neal Cruz hits a 115-mile-per-hour home run. An absolute laser leaves the yard. The Marlins almost came back in this game as well. Otto Lopez, he hits his first home run of the year in the 9th inning. That made it a 1-run game, very close, but the Pirates win it 4-3. How crazy would it have been if the Marlins walked off on back-to-back nights? Well, Game 3, Otto Lopez ties it in the 7th with a single. We go to extras. Both teams score in the 11th. And then in the 12th, Dane Myers gets a walk-off single to right. 3 games, 2 walk-offs. The Marlins are in control right now, 5-4. They're showing the grit. They're showing the passion that we want to see from a bottom feeder. Final game of the series, McCutcheon gets a home run. He still has it. And then Griffin Connie hits a game-tying home run in the 7th on this same day that the Marlins induct his father into their Hall of Fame. That brings us to the 9th inning, where we are tied at 2. Derek Hill scores on a wild pitch from David Bednar, and that's a 3rd straight walk-off win. 3 walk-offs in the series, 2 back-to-back nights. The Marlins take 3 of 4 in this series and win all 3 games on the year in walk-off fashion. How about that for a start to 2025? Twins and Cardinals now. The Cardinals beat up on the Twins in this series, 5-3 in the first game. Bader hits a home run back at Busch Stadium for the Twins, but it's Nootbaar and Arenado whose home runs carry the Cardinals to the win there. In the second game, it's a 3-run 6 that break it open. The Cardinals take it 5-1. And in the final game, Victor Scott, Pedro Pajes, and Nolan Gorman, the 3 Cardinals to hit home runs. They win it 9-2 and sweep the Twins in St. Louis. Cardinals red hot early on. Giants and Reds. How about the Giants here? Heliot Ramos gets a home run earlier in this game. The Reds had the lead though, but the Giants come back with 4 runs in the 9th inning, including a 3-run home run from Wilmer Flores to steal the opening day win on the road from the Reds. 6-4 Giants. Game 2, Wilmer Flores hits his second home run already on the year, but Matt McLain and Christian Encarnacion Strong, they homer for the Reds. They get their first win. They even up the series 3-2 there. And for the rubber match, the Giants take it 6-3 with Ramos hitting his second home run. Matt Chapman going deep as well. The Giants adding 2 insurance runs in the 8th. Matt McLain homered a second time as well in this game. Giants take 2 of 3 from Cincinnati. We've got the Cubs and the D-backs for a 4-game series. 10-6 Cubs in the first game. Eugenio Suarez hits a home run for the Diamondbacks. Ian Happ goes deep for the Cubs. And then how about Miguel Amaya? A 3-run double breaks the tie in the 5th, and then he doubles again and scores 2 more. Had 2 doubles and 5 RBIs in this game. 10-6 Cubs. For Game 2, the Diamondbacks score 8 unanswered runs, including 2 more home runs from Eugenio Suarez. That brings his total on the season up to 3 already, only playing 2 games. Diamondbacks win it 8-1 there. Cubs bounce back and take Game 3 though. Tucker gets his first home run as a Cub. And how about Matt Shaw getting his first career MLB home run? And by the way, in case you're wondering, Suarez goes deep once again, 3 straight games and 4 home runs overall on the year, which brings us to the 4th game. Can he go 4 for 4 with some home runs? Well, the Cubs certainly were in the driver's seat in this one. Dansby Swanson, Seiya Suzuki, and Kyle Tucker all homer for the Cubs. The Diamondbacks are down 4 in the 8th inning, so they decide to score 8. A game-tying home run from Gurriel Jr. Josh Naylor gets a go-ahead double. And then how about pitcher Ryan Nelson? Yeah, you heard me. Pitcher Ryan Nelson. An RBI single and later came around to score. Diamondbacks 8 runs in the 8th, 10-6. They split the 4-game set with the Cubs. What a win for them on Sunday. Braves and Padres, this is also a 4-game series, but unlike the Cubs and D-backs, this was not a 2-team battle, it was a 1-team battle. The Padres beat up on the Braves in this series. Game 1, Braves looked good. Ozzie had a home run, Austin Riley had a home run, but a 4-run 7th inning, starting it off with a Gavin Sheets pinch hit home run in his first at-bat as a Padre. That propelled the Padres to a 7-4 victory on opening day. The next day, Tatis leadoff home run in the first inning. He is here. Kelenic tied the game up with his home run in the 5th inning, his first on the year, of course. And then Cronenworth in the 8th inning, he hits a go-ahead home run. That's the difference in this one. Breaks the 3-3 tie with his home run. 4-3 Padres, the final there. In the 3rd game, it was the pitching that shined. Combined 9 hits in the game. The only run was on a pinch hit single from Yuli Gurriel, a guy in his 40s, in the 7th inning. 1-0 Padres, your final there. And then how about 5 doubles, scoring 5 runs for the Padres throughout the final game of the series. Pivetta throws a gem in his Padre debut. The Braves only had 1 hit as they get swept, a 4-game sweep. Not the way you want to start off your 2025. Padres win it 5-0. And that brings us to Tigers and the Dodgers. 5-4 Dodgers in the first game as Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez, and Shohei Ohtani all go yard. And Spencer Torkelson hits a home run for the Detroit Tigers. That's a step in the right direction for him. Second game, Dylan Dingler and Gleyber Torres, they hit home runs for the Tigers. Freddie Freeman, though, hits a game-tying 2-run shot in the 6th. And then Mookie gets a go-ahead home run in the 8th for them, both their first home runs on the year. Tigers, though, they don't go down without a fight. They tie it in the 9th on a Manuel Margot single. They then score 2 in the 10th on a Dylan Dingler triple. But in the bottom of the 10th, Conforto gets an RBI double. Will Smith gets an RBI single. That ties it up and sets the stage for Mookie Betts, who hits a walk-off 3-run home run for his 2nd home run of the game. And again, the Dodgers stay on top. They stay winning 8-5, your final there, which brings us to the last game of the weekend. And it's Freddie Freeman hitting his 2nd home run on the year, as well as Will Smith, his first, and then Tommy Edman, his 3rd home run of the year already. Of course, one of those is in Tokyo. Roki Sasaki made his Dodger Stadium debut, and just like in Tokyo, did struggle with command. 4 walks and a short leash for him. The Dodgers, though, do stay undefeated. They are 7-3. They sweep the Tigers, and that is your series recap. All right, so a little lengthy, but let's continue on here and get into our game of the weekend here. And we are taking you to Arizona for that final game of the 4-game set here. Cubs taking the first 2 of the 3. And here we go with the Cubs offense. In the top of the 2nd, Dansby Swanson hits his first home run on the season. 1-0 Chicago. Later on, it's the top of the 6th, and it's Seiya Suzuki who gets his first home run on the year. It's a 2-run shot. 3-0 Cubs. Everything is looking good. Bottom of the 6th, Alek Thomas, he gets a sac fly, gets Arizona on the board. Then on the bottom of the 7th, Gabriel Moreno, he gets a single. So it's a 3-2 ball game here. It's a close game. Then you head to the top of the 8th where the Cubs add 3, thanks to Kyle Tucker hitting his second home run as a member of the Cubs, his second in back-to-back days. 6-2 Chicago, they're feeling good. Meanwhile, Arizona can't get anything with their offense going. And then you get to the bottom of the 8th. Geraldo Perdomo, he doubles in 2 runs as Thomas and Carroll score. That makes it 6-4. Very next batter, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. takes the first pitch he sees and sends it deep to left. That ties the game up. And just like that, 4 runs in the inning alone. Then Moreno gets on base, and then Naylor, the newest Arizona Diamondback, of course, no more Walker. It's Josh Naylor. They traded for him during the offseason. He gets an RBI double. That puts Arizona up 7-6. But of course, they need more. Unfortunately, they ran out of position players on their bench, and they had Ketel Marte start as the DH. They needed to move him to second base after some injuries. So they ended up losing their DH, which means they had to have pitcher Ryan Nelson come in to take a hack. And with a runner on, Ryan Nelson gets a base hit up the middle to score a runner. How about that from the pitcher in 2025? Wow, that's not Ohtani doing offense. That's crazy. 8-6 there. Alek Thomas, he then gets a single, and that makes it 9-6 for Arizona. And then Corbin Carroll, the next batter, he doubles in a 10th run as a total. So 8 runs in the 8th inning. They go from down 4 to up 4, and they win that one 10-6 to split the series. Very important win there. And I think if you're Arizona, you're happy with that split, especially with the way you guys went about it. 8 runs in the 8th inning. That is your game of the week. So that brings us to the baseball news. The first rendition of baseball news here for 2025. We had 24 players have 2 or more home runs in the first series here. 25 if we include Ohtani, but he has 2 home runs, one of which was in Tokyo, so he only homered once in this first opening day series, the opening weekend here. But yeah, 24 players have 2 or more home runs. Judge and Suarez lead the way with 4 already. It was funny, actually, because I saw it was like a tweet, and it was like, oh, Suarez already has 3 home runs. Judge has 0. Like, what are we doing here? And then Judge proceeded to hit 3 home runs to tie him. Of course, then Suarez hit a 4th home run that same day, so then Judge hits one yesterday on Sunday, so they're both tied up at 4. And speaking of Judge, and speaking of those Yankees, that's what we're going to be talking about first here, and kind of the main thing about this episode, and I think it won't be the only episode we're talking about this. The Yankees, and I say the Yankees because they're the ones with the most players doing it and have introduced it the most and have seen the most success so far. The Torpedo bat is the talk of the league. If you don't know what we're talking about, a couple of the Yankees players, specifically Anthony Volpe, Jazz Chisholm, and Austin Wells, have new bats. And I mean, they're definitely made differently. The Yankees have constructed a new bat that kind of puts the barrel of the wood of the bat more in the sweet spot. So I'm just going to read some of the stuff here just to get off some of the legality of it and kind of what is the more scientific, like this is the facts, before I kind of just talk randomly and give my thoughts and takes. The bats here, which Major League Baseball confirmed are legal, are defined by an untraditional barrel which rests closer to the hitter's hands. The Torpedo bats are designed with more wood and thus more mass. The area of the bat where the hitter is more likely to hit the ball. Each player is a slightly different model with the bat shape specifically custom to maximize potential damage on any given swing. If you haven't seen what these Torpedo bats are, essentially, I would go and take a Google search. I think I'm going to make it my thumbnail. So if you're on the YouTube of this, you probably see Jazz or Volpe with this Torpedo bat. But It's a weird looking bat. It's definitely not anything you've seen before. And yes, MLB said that they are legal. In Rule 3-02 states that bats cannot be more than 2.61 inches in diameter and 42 inches in length, which these bats are not. They're basically just taking the top part of the bat and pushing it down, the wood part, kind of, you move it more to the middle where you tend to make the most contact. And by doing so, you're barreling the balls better, and that's causing for more power, more distance on balls, and more contact in general. And, we saw this kind of come to fruition, and unfortunately for the Brewers, they were the test subjects in this situation. The Yankees scored 36 runs in this series and had 15 home runs. Of course, not all of the players are using these torpedo bats. In fact, Judge is one player who's specifically not using it. I don't have his exact quote, but I remember seeing it basically saying that, if you look at his last 2 or 3 seasons, I'm not going to change something that's not broken. It works for him. And that's perfectly fine. And I'm sure there are people in the league who are going to be on similar mindsets as Aaron Judge here. In yesterday's Sunday Night Baseball game, Manny Machado was doing a in-game interview, and the broadcast brought it up and said what are his thoughts on the torpedo bat, saying he had no idea what they were, but he definitely would love to try some if they're going to keep hitting home runs like that. So obviously there are some players who are taking note and are thinking, hey, this could be useful. And it's important to note that it isn't just New York. I know I already see a lot of people being like, oh, it's okay because the Yankees are doing it. And it's like kind of the way the Dodgers do deferrals, because they're the top, teams in the league, essentially, and the most marketable teams in MLB. People be like, oh, it's fine. The league doesn't care because the Yankees. There are other teams doing it, but just with less players, and it's less notable. In one of the games in Tampa Bay at Steinbrenner Field, Tampa Bay in Colorado, Junior Camareno came in to pinch hit, and he was using a torpedo bat as well, and he actually got a single to help his team eventually win that game. It was an RBI single, kind of booted off the second baseman there. So there are other players. I know Ryan Jeffers, the very next day after the Yankees won 20-9, he was seen using a torpedo bat as well. So this is something that I feel like is going to kind of be the new hitting. It's going to kind of take over, I feel like. It's going to be something that a lot of players will eventually start to try, especially as the season goes on here. And if we see more and more success, it's one thing to be like, oh, this is this new thing, but we're not seeing the results. We're seeing results. Austin Wells had 2 home runs. Jazz had 3 home runs. Volpe had 2 home runs. And, of course, those are the main, 3 guys that are being talked about and are kind of the ones doing it. Guardians manager Cian DeVoe said it's still human that has to hit it. So it's, it is a mix of if it helps build confidence, if it helps you as a hitter, why not? And obviously it is for Jazz and it is for Volpe and these guys who have been using it. And, I mean, for the Yankees, you hit 15 home runs. Like, you are the top team in home runs rate with 15 home runs. And the Dodgers have, 2 extra games than you guys in Tokyo. So there's a major difference there between what the Dodgers have done and what the Yankees are doing right now. And, I mean, I was very skeptical on the Yankees entering this season with, the Garrett Cole injury and how, no Soto. But, of course, I did like the additions that they made. But after watching this first series, I think I might have definitely underestimated this offense, definitely underestimated this torpedo bat, which, to be honest, I hadn't heard of until that 20-9 win, and seeing 9 home runs leave the ballpark, a franchise record for the Yankees. 9 home runs is crazy. Of course, Judge a grand slam. It's a crazy way to start the season for New York. And I think this is not going to be the only time we're talking about torpedo bats this season. It's definitely taken the main headlines of the first weekend here is this Yankees offense and these torpedo bats. So we'll see what else can come from them. For now, I find it interesting. I'm not against it. I think it's cool. I think it's going to be the next evolution of hitting. So I'm excited to see kind of which players and which teams will, implement it further and try to bend it as much as possible, and we'll see if MLB will eventually get rid of these, what they'll do. It's a lot of uncertainty here with the torpedo bats, but I'm very excited. Moving on here, let's talk about the fish, the Marlins. Walk-off frenzy. I didn't know the Marlins could have legs, but man, oh man, what a moment, what a series. I was trying to look for the right words there. Miami becomes the first team to win 3 walk-off wins for their first 3 and their first series since the 1901 Tigers. We're over 100 years old since a team, their first 3 wins in their first series was 3 walk-off wins. So you had the Derek Hill sprint home run that was the 3rd game. It's pretty crazy. It's the first time in 22 years that a team has claimed its first 3 wins of the season via walk-off, and that goes back to the 2003 Tampa Bay Rays. Of course, but that took over multiple series. These happening all in the same series, that's where you get to the 1901 Tigers. It's pretty crazy start to the season, especially when you think back to last season when they were 0-13 to start the year. The fact that they're 3-1, they're the top team in the NL East, and by the way, that's 3 walk-offs. The momentum they have entering the year right now is substantial, and I mean, will it last? Very likely it won't, but for now, I mean, hey, if you're the Marlins, you'll definitely take this. And I mean, you also have to question the Pirates. The bullpen obviously not the best. And how about David Bednar? I mean, tough kind of year and a half for him, I'd say now. Because when you think of David Bednar, I mean, you think of the all-star closer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. In 2021, he had a 2.23 ERA in 61 games. In 2022, a 2.61 ERA in 45 games. And then in 2023, a 2 ERA in 66 games. He had 39 saves that year. And those 3 years, I mean, you add all that up, that's some incredible numbers there, like a 2.3 ERA with over 150 appearances, give or take. Of course, last year, you saw that struggle for the first time, had 23 saves, but he pitched in 62 games, and he had an ERA of 5.77. Last year was a really down year for Bednar. And so far, obviously not a lot of games yet, but already he pitched in 3 of the 4 games over the series here. And in those 3 games, he only gets an inning of work technically. He allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs, but 4 runs. He had the home run and has 1 save. He saved 1 of the games, but in that save game was that 4-3 win that he gave up the home run to Otto Lopez. So right now his ERA sits at 27, and it's not looking great for Bednar. So I don't know what you got to do with him. If you take him out of the closer role, if you try to do something to get him back in his game. But Bednar definitely struggling here. Struggled last year, and already I know it's only 4 games into the season. 3 games for him, but blown saves already. And the walk-off wild pitch here for the 3rd walk-off win for the Marlins. But hey, if you're Miami, you're going to take it. You're going to keep rolling with it, and hopefully you can keep it up, because that's going to be huge for you guys going forward here and give you some momentum to bring into your next couple of series here. So good for the Fins and Pirates. Yikes. We had a couple of extensions that happened just before opening day, and of course during that last kind of opening day, over the last couple of days here. Just going to mention them really quickly. I know we had Kirk get extended by the Blue Jays. There was another catcher. The Mariners are extending Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, to a 6-year deal, $105 million. I think that's money well spent. I'm sure Mariner fans are happy with the extension, considering that their team didn't do much in the offseason. And the other extension happened on opening day. The Diamondbacks are extending Brandon Pfaadt to a 5-year deal, $45 million going his way. They also have a club option for 2031 and a mutual option for 2032. If that club option, of course, is exercised in 2031, then the mutual option would stand there for 2032. But those are the 2 extensions that happened here. And I think that'd be it for offseason news, hopefully, and news like that going forward here for a little bit. But we'd have to wait and see as the season progresses, I guess. But for now, that's where we stand with those extensions, with the offseason, blah, 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 blah. So that's all the baseball news, really. The torpedo bats and, the Marlins' crazy walk-offs. Of course, there was a lot of crazy, great game plays and stuff that happened here. We're going to move into our hot and colds, the first rendition of the hot and colds for 2025 here. I'm not changing anything with this, but considering this is opening weekend, because we had so many outstanding performances, I have more than just 5 guys who are hot right now. In the first series here, we had some heat from some of these guys here. Aaron Judge, 6 for 11 with 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 8 runs, 3 walks. A 2.461 OPS is insane for Aaron Judge. His teammate Jazz Chisholm also hot, 5 for 12, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 runs. With that new torpedo bat, a 1.667 OPS for him. Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks, 4 for 14, but all 4 of those hits were home runs. He had 7 RBIs, 5 runs, 2 walks, and a 1.555 OPS. How about Wilyer Abreu from the Red Sox? That opening day 2-homer night for him. On the series, he was 7 for 15, a double, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 3 runs, good for a 1.633 OPS. Excuse me, I looked at the wrong name there. Wilyer Abreu was 7 for 10 with 2 doubles and 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 runs, 5 walks, and didn't strike out for a 2.300 OPS. Misread the line there. Wilyer Abreu, second in OPS behind Judge. The line I was reading was Tyler Soderstrom from the Athletics. I was about to say the Oakland Athletics. Nope, the Athletics. I'm learning. He was 7 for 15 with a double, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 3 runs, and a 1.633 OPS. Just confused the two. Still, both players hot. Kyle Manzardo for the Cleveland Guardians, 5 for 11, a double, a triple, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 3 runs, 3 walks, a 1.844 OPS for him. How about Keibert Ruiz from the Nationals, 5 for 10, a double, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 runs, a 1.745 OPS. And lastly here, Jordan Westburg from your Baltimore Orioles, 6 for 13, 3 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 runs, good for a 1.654 OPS. Those are the 8 hottest players after the first weekend of baseball here. And when you have heat, you also have the cold. And that is the second part of our cold in the hot and cold section here. We'll go a little bit backwards from the slightly worst, the best of the worst is the words I'm looking for there. Correa and Lindor I put as a mix because they were both 0 for 11, both shortstops. I think Correa had 1 K and Lindor had 3. Dylan Cruz from the Nationals making a Rookie of the Year case. Not starting off right. 0 for 11 with 8 strikeouts there. Luis Arias going for his 4th straight batting title with a potential 4th straight team if they trade him. He didn't strike out, but he was 0 for 13 in the weekend against Atlanta where the Padres swept them. So a little help from Arias there at the top of the order. Wilson Contreras made the move to first base. The Cardinals swept the Twins, but he did not contribute much. 0 for 14 with 5 strikeouts. But the big news here on the cold section is Rafael Devers no longer playing third base. He's been DHing this week against Texas. And he started the year 0 for 16 with 12 strikeouts. A big yikes and some question marks there because if that's the way it's going to be, do you put him at third base? There's some talk about like, when you're DHing, you're playing, but it's not like you're playing. I think Matt Kemp put that on a comment on Instagram yesterday on the MLB Network's page. But yeah, it's definitely a cause for concern for Red Sox. I mean, hey, you did get a win, but if Devers isn't right, you gotta look in the mirror a little bit. Suzuki is the only other player in the league with 12 strikeouts. But he also has 9 more at-bats because he, of course, was in the Tokyo series. So Devers, currently the coldest player in the league right now, definitely needs to right his wrongs. Moving on here, we have our injury updates. We're going to try to continue to fly through this episode now. Just a handful of guys here. We had Max Scherzer go on the 15-day IL for the Blue Jays with a right thumb inflammation. Josh Lowe from the Rays, he's on the 10-day IL with a strained right oblique. And then Jose Ramirez, he left the game, I believe, on Saturday, if my math is right, Saturday or Friday, I forget which game it was. He left the game with a right wrist sprain. He did not play yesterday on Sunday, but he is not yet listed on the IL, so consider him day-to-day. We'll see what happens there, but if Cleveland loses their star third baseman for a little bit, that's definitely not ideal for them. Outstanding performances. We have a nice list here of some outstanding performances from the first weekend of baseball here. Kyle Freeland from the Rockies, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. Jose Soriano from the Angels, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Jacob deGrom in his first start of the year, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. Logan Gilbert, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 8 Ks. Jeffrey Springs in his debut with the A's, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. Framber Valdez on opening day, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. How about Mackenzie Gore on opening day for the Nationals? 6 innings pitched, only 1 hit, no runs and no walks, and 13 strikeouts. He's definitely got the best pitching performance so far on the season. He, of course, dueled Zach Wheeler in that game, who also was outstanding. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, the 1 home run, the earned run there, 2 walks, and 8 Ks for him. And then Mitchell Parker for the Nationals as well. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Maybe not the flashiest line, but he looked damn good, especially in that new City Connect uniform. The Nationals debuted that this weekend as well. I threw in Steven Matz here. Did not start the game, but he came in, 4 innings pitched, only 1 hit, and got a save, striking out 2 batters. He looked really good. 4 inning save out of the bullpen. What more can you want if you're a Cardinals fan? Shota Eminaga in his second start of the season, the first one not in Tokyo, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. Spencer Schwellenbach, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, a walk, and 4 Ks against the Padres. And for the Padres, how about Nick Pivetta yesterday? What a gem he threw. 7 innings pitched, only the 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, and 4 Ks. An outstanding night for him, and those are our outstanding performances. And that brings us to our standings check here. Of course, it's the first weekend, so there really isn't too much to stand here. But I will mention that the 4 teams that are yet to lose are the Yankees, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and the Padres. So, Dodgers probably feel pretty good at 5-0, but they look in the mirror, the Padres at 4-0, only, half a game out. So, pretty funny stuff there for the NL West. And then our 4 winless teams, the Tigers, Twins, Braves, and Brewers. Of course, Twins played the Cardinals, Brewers played the Yankees, Tigers played the Dodgers, Braves played the Padres. You can understand how the 4 sweeps that we had here, and 4 winless teams, 4 loseless teams. And to be fair, I'll give the Tigers, credit, because they did look good in that series against the Dodgers. It just so happened that it was a series against the Dodgers, and even their games that they should have won, Mookie Betts ended up hitting a 3-run walk-off home run in extras. But anyways, outside of that, Guardians atop of the Central, Texas atop of the West, currently 3-1 there. Miami 3-1, they lead the NL East currently, and then Cardinals, Dodgers, and Yankees leading up their divisions as well. And so far that's kind of how we stand. And I guess when you take a look at those winless teams, Brewers 0-3, Twins 0-3, Tigers 0-3. They were 3-game series. The Braves were a 4-game series. They're 0-4. So technically the Braves right now are the worst team in baseball. And the best team is, the Dodgers, who are 5-0, and then Padres 4-0. So Padres second best, Dodgers best, and Braves the worst. That's what you got from the first week here. As we dive now into our upcoming series here for the first week of baseball to round it up. Starting today and going through until Friday, of course. The Nationals heading north of the border to take on the Blue Jays. Pirates at Rays. Diamondbacks at Yankees. 2 of the 3 top offenses. It goes Yankees 1, Dodgers 2, and Diamondbacks 3. So expect some offensive showings in Yankee Stadium. We have the Red Sox at the Oilers. Twins at the White Sox. Tigers at Mariners. Giants at Astros. Cubs at A's. We get to see Sutter Health Park for the first time. Mets at Marlins. Rockies at Phillies. Rangers at Reds. Angels at Cardinals. Royals at Brewers. Braves at Dodgers. So not what you want to see there. The 0-4 Braves taking on the 5-0 Dodgers. This can get real ugly there. And we rounded off with the Guardians heading to Petco Park to take on the Padres. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what our first episode here looks like. A little bit lengthier than I wanted. I'm going to try to keep them within the 30 to 40 minute range. That's kind of the plan going forward here. I just got really excited with the series recap. I'm going to kind of continue the form I had at the end of last season, where I just kind of said scores and then talked about only the few interesting things that happened. But it was the first weekend. There's a lot that did happen that I was excited about, that I wanted to talk about. But as we get into the dog days of summer, it'll be more of the shaboozy and kind of just getting through the season and the motion there. But for now, opening day, opening series, a lot of fun, a lot of things I wanted to talk about. And so that could wrap us up. Thank you, everybody, so much. And I will see you on Friday.